Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to your Wednesday edition of NMH at 1, where we catch up on current events and headlines. My name is Aurelia Samuyenga, and thank you very much for joining me today. Stay tuned as we give you a brief overview of today's news highlights, the good and the bad, the highs and the lows. The Ministry of Health and Social Services in Namibia and government in general remains extremely worried about the slow uptake in vaccination in COVID-19. During the past week, the total number of vaccines administered dropped further to about 11,500 from 12,700 the week before. The number of additional people fully vaccinated against the disease now less than 10,000 per week compared to more than 15,000 3 weeks ago and more than 20,000 during the week before that. Of Namibia's entire population, 14.5% by Sunday received a first dose of vaccine and 11.3% have been fully vaccinated. These two figures respectively represent 23.1% and 18.9% of the country's target. Daily vaccinations reported for last week are even further below the target of 5,000, with Monday and Thursday doing the best. To the right, you can see the total first and second vaccinations for November as it stands compared to previous months. At the current rate, it is projected that these totals will reach about 30,000 and 20,000 for November, way below previous figures. In our second slide, the graphic to your lower left again clearly shows the downturn in visits to vaccination points over the past 2 weeks. As far as the regions go, 23%, or almost a quarter of inhabitants of Kavango West, have been fully vaccinated. It is, however, possible that some of these individuals are from neighboring regions. Those fully vaccinated in the Khomas region represent 15% of the population, and the rate for the Hardap region stood at 18%. Our map shows that in the central far north and northeast, regions are still trailing significantly behind the national average, with between 5% and 8% of inhabitants fully vaccinated. As per usual, here at NMH at 1, we bring you a number of video news clips from across the country. In our first contribution, Dr. Rudy van Vuren and his wife Marlies talked to Yolanda Nell about the relaunch of the Justice for Animals campaign to address animal welfare in Namibia.
Today we are joined with the Van Vurens. We have an animal welfare workshop. Can you quickly tell us what is this all about?
Well, the Justice for Animals campaign has two objectives. Firstly, to inform the public and stakeholders what the current legislation is around animal welfare. And then secondly, to get momentum to change the current laws, because the laws are outdated, conflicting, and we need to change those laws. Those laws date from 1975 and 1962. And at the moment, animals are being killed and mistreated because of poor laws. So that's the two objectives of the campaign. And today's workshop is presented by Advocate Ronelda Wies, who's done an in-depth study on this, and she's going to share knowledge with us.
Why is this so important in the Namibian context?
I think it's really important in the Namibian context that we cannot work on old and outdated laws, and it's time to really make a difference towards animals in our country. And Namibia can be a flagship for Africa because we've put animal rights in our constitution. So I think we have to really look at the laws at this stage.
Councillor Ronald Bromwell, representing Walvis Bay Joint Residents Association, tabled a motion suggesting that municipal staff and councillors take a 20% salary cut since residents can no longer afford the municipality. Although the motion was unopposed, it still needs to discuss at management committee level and also requires the input of other departments within the municipality. Leandra Lowe was there.
The residents of Walvis Bay, Kuisepont, Naraval, Langstrand, Eco Village can no longer afford this municipality. We collectively as councillors attempted to modify the proposed operational budget for the 2021 financial year, 21-22 financial year, but with limited success. We as councillors are just as much to blame as the administration for presenting a flawed version of our operational budget to the Honourable Minister of Finance, and that was done in March 21. We received the approval of our flawed operational budget in August 21, but it came with 15 recommendations. In the Council's collective limited knowledge on financial matters, we believe that the administration had done their homework and that the document which was sent to the Honourable Minister of Finance was something that would just be reviewed and then approved as a matter of course. Imagine our surprise when we received the approval from the Ministry of Finance with no less than 15 recommendations. The Council, along with the administration, are responsible for the money which is paid to the municipality by the residents for the services of rates and taxes, supply of fresh water, sewage, maintenance of roads, upkeep of parks and gardens, and any other services which the municipality renders to our residents. The cardinal purpose of the municipality is to supply these services which I have mentioned to the best of their ability, while at the same time keeping the quality of service delivery at the highest possible level and the cost of these services as low as possible.
And for our final video, Mariah Kashito thrives in business, making sure that her goals are aligned with the needs of her community. Elizabeth Joseph caught up with her.
I am Maria Kachito. I was raised at a very small farm, if I may call it that way, in the south, named Ganikopes. list of obligations that is a setup like this needs to have in place from the municipality. Obviously, you must be registered as a food handler. I have at least completed that part. But then there are some other things like I need to have a fire blanket, I need to have a fire extinguisher in place, I need to have first aid kit. So these things all comes with cost, and I need to maintain them from time to time.
Okay.
Win instant cash this spring with Top Score Instant. To enter, buy any new pack of Top Score Instant 1 kg or 500 grams from any store countrywide and stand a chance to win one of 2 grand prizes of $20,000 Namibian or one of 12 weekly prizes of $5,000 Namibian. SMS Instant to 24442. Competition ends 30 November 2021. T's and C's apply. Top Score Instant, a proud product of Namib Mills.
Let's have a look at the stories making headlines in our national daily newspapers. We start off with Allgemeine Zeitung, which leads with Ricardo Gustav, the managing director of Namgoma Pesca Namibia, appearing in the High Court yesterday for his second bail application in the fish rod trial, almost a year after his first unsuccessful bail application. Gustavo pleaded that he would not leave the country because of his 5 children. He also testified that he had contracted COVID-19 while in the Windhoek Central Prison. He also explained the intricacies surrounding the trade deal between Namibia and Angola, the parent company Namgoma, and the Icelandic fishing companies. The Namibian also puts focus on the testimony by Ricardo Gustav on the first day of the hearing of his bail application to be granted bail after nearly 2 years in jail. In Gustavo's testimony, he implicated the son of a former fisheries minister of Angola, who was his direct superior while he was MD of Namgoma Pesca Namibia. Gustavo said when he became involved with the companies, the existing Angolan mother company had existing operations and had already been allocated fishing quotas in the country's waters. In his view, the narrative falls flat that the idea of using an Angolan entity to enrich themselves would be cooked up in his mind, together with his co-accused. In Namibian Sun, Ricardo Gustav is quoted as telling the High Court judge that he feels like a boxer in the ring with one arm tied behind his back while the opponent is hitting him with both fists, arguing that the state has an unfair advantage. Although the prosecution charges that $14.8 million Namibian dollars paid from Icelandic company Submergy ended up in the pockets of Gustavo himself, he pleaded that no reason exists for him to go on the run from Namibia. Republican expresses the deep concern of health officials regarding the recent decline in the numbers of Namibians getting vaccinated against COVID-19. While some of the country's stock of Pfizer vaccinations that are now also used for people from age 12 years and older are due to reach their expiration date as soon as December or January, the recent rate of people getting vaccinated has been so slow that it would take 7 years just to use the current stock. New Era quotes former Health Minister Dr. Bernard Haufiku, who issued a warning that the country could be facing a pandemic of the unvaccinated if rising COVID-19 infections in Europe are anything to go by. According to Haufiku, the 4th wave that is reportedly peaking in European countries will likely not be worse than the 3rd wave for people who are fully vaccinated against the coronavirus.
Season 1 of the Hunters Chill Session is coming to a close. To celebrate, Hunters and the Namibian Sun will be having an exclusive invite-only event at Access Lounge on the 23rd of November. You can be part of this. Stand a chance to win exclusive double tickets for you and a friend to attend the Hunters Chill Finale. WhatsApp a picture of you and your friend chilling with your favorite Hunters to 084 000 9820. Hunters, refreshes like nothing on earth. Not for persons under the age of 18. T's and C's apply.
And now let's have a look at the stories on the inside pages of our daily newspapers. As MarketWatch reports, Disruptions in supply caused by the COVID-19 pandemic has resulted in prices on building materials escalating significantly. Especially imported materials recorded the sharpest price increase. On average, building material accounts for more than 60% of the total cost for building a new residential house. Meanwhile, Fisheries Minister Derek Claassen wants to renew the debate in the fishing industry on the topic of seal culling. Algemeine Zeitung reports that the minister in a recent speech pointed out that he, quote, has not met a person or company that does not complain about the negative impact of the seal population on Namibian fish stocks, end quote. He said recent scientific assessments have confirmed that the actual number of animals in Namibia is estimated at over 1.4 million. This number of seals eat on average more fish than the whole country fishes in a year, he said. However, harvesting, processing, and selling seals are more of a challenge than many people think, Claassen said. Moving on. Namibian Sun reports on the controversy surrounding the Ministry of Environment and Tourism's refusal to release any details on its auctioning of 57 elephants in December last year. Even though this was a public procurement process, the ministry has remained adamant that the successful bidders will only be disclosed, quote, at the end of the process, unquote. This has led to much speculation and several complaints by conservation groups to cite the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species that Namibia is not complying with international laws. According to New Era, Safety and Security Minister Albert Kawana and Police Chief Sebastian De Tunga are seeking a court order to rescind the default judgment which awarded 800,000 Namibian dollars to 4 students who were allegedly assaulted by law enforcement officers during a protest in 2018. The court granted a default judgment after De Tunga and Kawana's predecessor as minister, Charles Namolo, failed to timelessly tender their appearance to defend their case. The legal counsel of the defendants also showed up at the court. Republican shares the International Cricket Council's groundbreaking announcement yesterday that Namibia would act as co-host with South Africa and Zimbabwe for the 2027 Men's World Cup. Cricket Namibia CEO Johan Muller meanwhile told Nampa that while not much details have been confirmed yet, he was hoping that the country can host between 4 to 6 matches. Quote, "This will be an opportunity to Namibia to the whole world through sports tourism. A lot of money will come in as supporters will follow their teams to Namibia," he explained. He further said that the country will have to improve its cricket and general infrastructure in order to meet the requirements of hosting a World Cup tournament. And finally, an officer in the Walvis Bay Waterfront unit has been applauded by the Erongo Police Regional Commander for rescuing a civilian who jumped into the ocean last weekend. Sergeant Cornelius Green was off duty on the Saturday night when he received the call for help to rescue an expectant mother who had jumped into the ocean near the Walvis Bay Waterfront in an alleged suicide attempt. Green said reaching the victim was not easy as she was already deep in waters and swimming deeper. And that is it for your Wednesday edition of NMH at 1. From myself, Aurelia Samuyenga, thank you very much for joining me and have a blessed day ahead. I will see you again tomorrow at the same time, always at the same place. But until then, here's your weather update.